Alright guys, this is Steven here. Today I'll be attempting to do a HID to LED switchback, meaning I have made two switches, one for each light, where I can convert from, not really convert, but more like I can run my HID and also LED at the same time. And the way that will work is that with the switch, I'll be able to cut the power to HID and transfer it to the LED. So like that, whenever I want to switch them, I can just toggle the switch and it'll let me transfer power from one side to the other. Alright, so I'll explain that a little bit more later. And right now I have just finished removing my bumper. I'm just gonna disconnect the lights, which actually I already did. And then I can move this to the side, alright? So also at this point, once you remove your bumper, if there's anything else you want to add, like for example mine did not come originally with fog lights, so you actually still have to remove the bumper to be able to install that. So if you were to do something like that, this is the best time to do that. Make sure, because you gotta go through the back and all that stuff you gotta do. So, but that's a different story. I can go into details for that one later. But other than that, right now what I'm gonna be doing is removing the headlights to actually not uncover, but to get the ballast out, and then do my wiring if I need to do any wiring, or to find out how it works, and then from there I'll show you how to get it to work, okay, if it works. All right, so I'll continue to remove the headlights and then I'll let you guys know what's up. Okay, so for the headlights, there's actually two screws that go right here. I already removed them. They're 10 millimeters, and then there will be one right here, and there should be another one. In total there should be 4. So okay, and it's actually under this. I gotta finish removing this cover because this is what holds the actual headlight in place. So you need to remove that, and then once this comes off, then there's gonna be one more screw down there, and then there's one on top here, and then this whole thing pops out. Okay, so I'll remove that and then I'll show you again. Alright, so I removed the headlight. Make sure that before you pull it out, disconnect both these harnesses. That's one right there, that's the other one. That's actually connected to the back of your headlight. Let me see if I can do this. Right, so they go both right there. Right, so disconnect those, don't just pull it or you'll damage it. And then let me take this over here. Okay, this is your actual headlight all out. Okay, so these look really nice. Okay, and these are the original too. Okay, I have the 1.0 series if you haven't noticed yet, and these come with HID. Okay, so I'm not sure if because I got the 6-speed manual, so I don't know if the automatic one comes with also the halogen or the HID. So and that will be the pedal shifter. Okay, but other than that, if you have this model, the HID, that's your ballast. This is the harness that connects to your power, that gives everything power, your daytime running lights, your low beam, your this is a projector. So you actually, one bulb powers your low and high beam, and the way it works is that inside this projector there's a little door. So pretty much when it's low beam, it's like this. When you activate high beam, it comes up and then it just lets all the full power come out, or the full lighting of the actual bulb potential to show up, and that's how you get your high beam. And then when you go back to low beam, it covers again, so only half the light is showing. Okay, and that's how you get your low beam. So I'll make sure to check that out right now. Okay, so again, this is your ballast, that's for HID. Your bulb goes right here. Let's see if I can open it. Give me one moment. It's just alright, so I removed it. It'll be in this position around there, and then you would twist it this way and then it'll pop out. Okay, it is a bit hard, but that means it's making a good seal so no water goes into it. Okay, and this is your actual HID cable, and it's connected still in place. Okay, it uses D4S, that's what we use for this one. And the ones I'm going to be installing is actually a universal D2S, which has where it actually sits in place. I'll actually show you right now. Let's see. Also, it also tells you which way to go to lock it. So clockwise lock, counterclockwise unlock. So, let me again, I need both my hands for this. Alright, so there, I unlocked it. So it was like this, twist this way, and it pops out. Alright, and that's your ballast, not your ballast, your HID bulb. Alright, It's held in by the retainer clips. You just push these together in and it pops out and then just slides out. Okay, so I'll show you the D2s later, but at this moment I'm gonna focus more on the part we actually gotta remove, which is the HID ballast. That's where we want to play. Okay, so once I get that out, I'll explain more. Alright, cool. So once you remove the 4 screws, I don't know if these really matter, the order they came from, but I just make sure to keep them the way I took them out. So this is your seal, your gasket, to keep moisture or anything coming into the headlight, and this is the plug we want to play with. Okay, so at this moment, luckily for our lights, there's only one. I'm just gonna assume this is power and that's ground. Okay, this is your ballast. So our vehicle connects to this, and then from here powers our ballast to give us our ground and power. Okay, so if it's that simple, then I got my work cut out for me. Okay, so let me unplug this and I'll show you. Okay, you can actually see there's a little clip right here in the bottom. You want to push that in and see if I can get it out with one hand. Nope, I cannot, so I'll be using both my hands to take this off. Okay, alright, so on its own this could be a little bit difficult to remove. If you actually try it, you might be able to get it out with your hands, but if you're like me, I couldn't get it out, so I actually used a small flat hit. With one finger I pressed in the clip, and then from the side there's actually a little edge right there, you see. I actually, while holding the clip in, pushing the clip in, I actually lifted from here and it popped out. Okay, so don't force it out, don't jam it in there or anything like that. Just take your time and you can get it out. Okay, so luckily for me, like I was saying, there's only 2 prongs, so that means one will be power, on his ground. Okay, from what I can see, there's no divisions, so it's safe to say that it's just ground and power. Simple as that. So this is where the fun comes into play. Okay, I've actually made these. Maybe they're ugly, maybe they're not. Okay, but that's not the point. I did it like this so you can hold it and you can actually move it and not have to worry about getting shocked. So the way this works, or my theory, is that I got a single pole double throw switch, so it'll be on, middle, off, to the side, on. So okay, so the way I'm gonna do this is that, and I hope it works, I tested before already with 2 different LEDs and it functioned the way I wanted it, but this is HID, so I don't know if it'll cause any problems. I hope not. But what I want to do is that, for example, right now, let's say my HID works perfectly fine, but it dies tomorrow. Okay, and let's say the HID from Toyota, maybe it's like, let's just say $50 a bulb. Okay, well, what if I don't have those $50? Okay, I can go to the store, get a $30 LED, and I would like to install it, but I can't because this has a ballast, and you cannot run an LED on a ballast. This is meant for HID. If you put it on a ballast, who knows what would happen? You probably either damage this or your bulb would just burn out. So what I want to do is that I want to be able to cut the power that goes to the HID ballast and transfer or redirect it to the LED. All right, so the way it would be is that, like, for right now, if my HID is dead, I can just cut the power and send it to my LED, and I can run my LED and HID at the same time. Well, not together, but meaning that if I want to ever switch back, I can just switch the switch and I can go back to HID or LED and vice versa. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, the way I made this is there's a 15 amp fuse in here to protect if anything goes bad, and this goes out and not my system. One of these will go to the HID, which will connect here, and one will go to my LED, and then they'll both share the ground. Okay, so let's find out if this actually works. Give me one moment, I'll be right back. Alright, so before we plug anything, I'm actually turning on the lights and reconnecting it to test it to make sure which one is ground and which one is power. So as you can see right here, we have the switch. Yeah, and you can tell that the one over here to the right, that's going to be your power. So that's your closest one to the red wire. That's going to be your power, and the furthest one is going to be your ground. Okay, so like that we know which one to mess with. Okay, so you might be wondering, why did I test it if you can just tell from here? Well, the reason why is because this red one, as you can see, the design of the actual plug is the red one stops right here, and then this long one, since you see how it gets flat right here, I wasn't sure if for whatever reason maybe the black one, which should be your negative, will be end here, and then your power can go over here. So just to be safe, I tested it, and we can confirm that if you look where the clip is, where you actually push into this remove, this one is your power, this one is your ground, okay? And that's what the one you want to tap into for power and ground, okay? So like that, now we know for sure which one it is, and we don't have to worry about like shorting out anything or breaking anything, okay? So now I'm going to begin plugging everything together, and then once I get it working, I will also show a diagram of how I got it to work, and I will also show you the how functioning, okay? So hopefully everything works out. So I'm going to start plugging things up, and I'll show you as soon as I get that done, okay? Alright, so this is how I got it up, okay? Both the lights will be, the ballast and the LED will be running off the same ground, okay? So this would be that one. So it's teed off, okay? And this is the main ground. And then this is the main power source that comes from the vehicle. This is fuse right here, 15 amp fuse, for if anything happens, that goes out, not my actual system. One power for the ballast, one power for the actual LED, which I have an extension for it as well, okay? So these are connected. Everything's wired already. This is the actual button. And everything should be ready. So now all I gotta do is plug it in and test, see if it actually works. Okay? Alright, if everything's done correctly, you have your, right now I have the HID installed. That's my cable for the LED. I added my switch right there, so easy access. Plus, if you look into it, if you did it correctly, you should see your power and also your ground if it didn't disconnect on me again. Let's see. That one you see right here, the first one, that's your power, and then right beside it, you can see that other cable right next to it popping out. I can't really get an angle of it. We can kind of see it. There you go, you can kind of see the gold part. If I can just... right there. You can see right next to it. It's plugged in, alright? Sorry, it's very difficult, but you can kind of see right there. Okay, so it's red, the plastic, and then the little gold looking thing next to it, that's the ground, okay? So everything's good, let's go try it out. Alright, so as you can see, this one's the only one I've been working on yet. So this one's still stock, okay? That's all original, that's only HID. So if everything works like I'm hoping it will, I will be able to control my lighting for the LED and the HID that's in here, okay? So I haven't removed it. HID is plugged in. The switch is on off right now. Actually, no, it's on one of the settings. Okay, so oops. Okay, so right now it's on the center, so it should be off, okay? So there should be no power on it. So crossing my fingers that I don't blow anything. And turn on light. Okay, no power on LED. No power on HID, but you can tell it's on. See, this one's on. So let's see what happens. Okay, first switch. Oh, okay, so LED's on. No HID. Let's go all. HID's on, and LED's off. Ha ha ha. So, alright, so right now it's on that. So no power, power it off. I'll turn on the LED now. Sweet. So there we go. Theory worked. Or not theory, but yeah, the concept worked. It's working, so now I can switch between LED and HID whenever I need to. So there's HID, HID. Let's see, do we get any errors? Any dash errors? Well, nothing so far. So let's actually turn on the car. Let me make sure nothing's nearby that can get caught. Car is on. Things on. Let's activate the lights. The lights are not actually flickering. It's just on the camera. I don't know why. But I have lights on right now. My side markers lit up. Okay. So right now I have it on HID setting. LEDs off. HID. Markers on. Let's see what happens. So I actually cut the power on it. So it's still on. There you go. So I'm gonna turn it to LED now. So you can see HID, LED. So there we go. I'm actually gonna drive it around later once I've done everything. I'm gonna do the same thing to my passenger side, and I'll do a drive test, see how that thing works out, and then I'll be posting this online. All right. I would like to say right now that this is just me experimenting with my vehicle. So I don't recommend this for anyone. If you want to do it at your own risk. You can't blame me, but other than that, I thought this might be something very helpful for people. I think it should be, how do you say, there should be a way for us to be able to have HID or halogen or LED whenever we need to, because HIDs can get expensive. Halogens can get expensive, LEDs can get expensive, so one of these options, we should be able to still have options. So I know some people prefer HID over LED or halogen or vice versa, whichever one you prefer, but like this we get options, you know, we're not stuck just with one light and that's all we can use. So there you go, guys. Like I said, I'll finish doing the passenger side and then put everything together, and then we'll I'll do some road tests later on, okay, and I'll try to post this up as well. So for that, I'm done for here, and I'll add more later, okay? Also, one more thing I forgot to mention, actually I just found out, I set it to auto, and the auto function still works. So whether I switch the power to the LED or the HID, if you have your vehicle on auto, when you turn off your car, after a few seconds, they all turn off. So cool, that still works. Alright, so what I'm gonna do right now is actually, like I was saying earlier, to take this off, you just press these down, out, and it pops out, okay? So it's not difficult, so careful. This is your HID, so people can see these are actually HID, not just me saying BS. So these are the factory ones too, okay? So these still work, so careful, do not do not break these, do not throw them away, okay? And then I'm going to be installing this D2S. I was provided these through LASFIT, and these are supposed to be direct fit for these two. So let me see if I can figure out how that works. If I remember correctly, I was told this part can be removed, and then you use that. And once removed, oh cool, it is. Okay. So if you didn't notice that, there's an actual guide right there. So what happens is you want to line that up with this, and then it just pops out. Okay, cool. So what I was told is that the normal D2S, I believe it only has like one of these holes, but to make it fit D4, we added another hole right here, or cutout. Let's see if I can zoom in. Alright, so you see how there's two cutouts? This big center square one up here, that one's gonna go on top there, so it lines up with that groove right there. You can see it. And then you see how there's a little dot right there? That's where one of these holes will line up to, okay? So on a D2, it will line up with this one, I believe. And on ours, the D4, it will go with this one. So, let's see. See? So the square opening will line up with that one up there, and the dot will guide with that one, okay? So you see, it has multiple different ones, I guess, for different applications of vehicles. So mine, it's a D4S, but I'm using a D2S. Well, that's how they have it, a D2, not that one. The LED itself, the name for it is a D2 or D2S, okay? So, and this is from LASFIT again. Okay, cool. So the way these will also, these are projectors, so I don't believe it should matter which way these go in. Normally on reflectors, from what I know, it's best to have these chips facing at a 9 and 3 o'clock position, so it'll be like that. So they'll be facing left and right. But the whole point of a projector is to collect the light and focus it to one point, you know? So let's see what happens. Let's see, this will go in here. Oops. Before I do anything, lock this first, or else it will not go over the light. There you go. It's locked. Put this in the back for now. Okay, and remember the guides. Make sure those two, you can see they're right there. Let me zoom in. There's one right there and one right there. Make sure those line up with this one. See? Okay. Once it's in there, it pretty much slides. So let's see which way it'll go. Okay, so there it is. It's locked, not going anywhere, and pretty much just connect this. And there you have it. Now you have LED in your HID housing. Alright, so I'll go test that right now. I mean, we've already seen it working, but I'll test just to make sure, okay? So I'm happy that our headlights have a lot of space to work with. So what I did, I just put the harnesses inside, put this to the side. This can be pushed even more in if we need to. But for now, I'll leave it here because so we can test it, easy access. So, but once everything's working, I can even put this inside. Like that. There you go, and our cover can still go over it. Alright, so another thing also, these are also running 32 watts, so it's close to what our HIDs run. Alright, our HIDs are set to, I believe, 35 watts. Let's see, yeah, 35 watts. So the LED is 32, that's 3 watts under, so we should not have to worry about these overheating or anything like that. So we'll be good. Okay. Alright guys, so here's the finished product. I had a couple troubles I had to go through, but I was able to get it back into place. Make sure you don't go through the same trouble I did on this one. After finishing that one, I realized that I should have extended the power and negative so I can have more slack and prevent having to pull on them and then disconnecting and having them all have to take everything apart again to work on it. So I extended on these ones and everything works now. I don't have to worry about if I pull the cable or anything like that, it'll come disconnected. So make sure also when you connect it to your leads, make sure they're really tight so they don't come off. And there you go. So right now I have it on LEDs. So this is the D2S. It's a big difference compared to my HIDs. My HIDs are like yellowish and these are pure white. So now they match my LED fog lights as well. All right. So later tonight I'll do a drive and show you guys how that works as well. Okay. So there you go. I actually think these are brighter than my HIDs. All right. So we'll find out later. Also, before later tonight comes, I also want to let you know that you can still fit your dust cover. So if you do this on this vehicle, on the FRS, there's enough room for you to actually put your dust cover back on. And you can see I put it back on that one. That one has it on, and I'll be putting it on this one. And all you have to do is just push this a little bit more in. I'll pause it right now and I'll put it on correctly because you can see with one hand it's kind of difficult to push it in. So give me one more. Alright, so there you go. It's all sealed properly, and as you can actually hear the, I don't know, the vibration or actual fan sound. So the LEDs are in here. So you don't think I'm just fooling you, but that's LED. These are the LASFIT D2S. And they fit the 4DS lights as well for the HID. And these are 6K, 32 watts, and I believe these are producing about 72 or 7600 lumens. So that's about 3600 lumens per each bulb. And there you go. So again, I'll do a night drive later and we'll see what's up. Okay, bye. Alright, so right now we got the LEDs running right now. So these are the LASFIT 2DS, and they're universal with 4DS. So that's what our cars use. So I'm gonna do a night drive right now. I gotta go get some gas. So I'll record all the way to the gas station, and then from there I'll be switching them to the HIDs, and we can compare like that, see what seems to be better. So at this moment, again, these are LEDs and projectors. Alright. chance maybe we're blinding people. Alright, so the way the projectors on this vehicle works is that it's almost like a dual beam, but it uses one bulb for everything. That's a single beam, so you don't have low and high on both bulbs. What happens is that in the actual projector itself, where the bulb goes in, there's a little gate above it that gives it the cut. So like it cuts the light power or the light source in half. So when it projects, only half the source is coming out, and that's how we get that nice smooth line. So right now it's gonna start to get a bit more darker, so you'll be able to see it more. I believe up ahead there's a wall, so hopefully you can see the projection of the actual line. What do you call it? The light projection. So you get the light line, whatever it's called, I forgot. But as you can see, you don't have to worry about blinding anyone because it actually cuts it. So that little gate thing prevents from light going all the way up. So I let this guy in front of me go a little bit further than me, give him some time so I can get the whole road to myself. So this is like the darkest area in where I'm at. So let's see right now. Okay. So right now we're in low beam, okay? This will be my high beam. Function of low beam and high beam still works due to the reason that that little gate has nothing to do with the actual light itself. So pretty much all you do when you go to high beam, the gate goes up, it lets the whole light source just come out, and when you go back to low beam, again it covers half of the light source, so you can only see just that line. So you can see right here, I'll do again high beam. That's high beam, low beam. Okay. And at this moment also, I am not using my fog lights, okay? So I just want to show just the light itself. So again, these are the 2DS that have the universal base tab. Allows you to also work it with D-Force, okay? So if you buy from a different brand, make sure it can fit your vehicle. You don't want to just go buy D2 thinking it'll fit. So make sure you get the correct one for your vehicle. Luckily for me, this bulb is universal, so it fits my vehicle and the D2S also headlights. Okay, so we're almost at the gas station. Once I put gas, I will also replace my LEDs with the HIDs, so you can try that out. Okay. One more thing as well, at this moment I have no codes also, so reason why, like I was saying earlier, if I mentioned it, is that the LED bulb produces 32 watts and the HID is 35, so it's right in the tolerance area, so that's why it doesn't give us any problems. Alright, so also since it has a fan, you don't have to worry about it overheating. It fit perfectly in. I have the dust caps on, everything I was able to manage inside there, and everything's working fine so far. So we'll see. Alright. Another cool thing as well you'll get to see right now is that light is instantly as well. HIDs take a while to warm up and to fully light up. So I'm gonna go right now and park on the side. Hopefully I don't get kicked off. Reason you do happen to be blinding people, our HID headlights for our vehicles, for the FRS 2015 TRD edition, I don't know if the other ones have this, but we can actually control how high the light goes. So if you have any problems, you can actually lower the light or raise it. Alright, so I'm gonna turn it off right now and do the switch real quick. Oh, before I do that, this is high beam. Okay. Go. Alright, so car is on now. And as you can see right now, I don't know if the camera will actually pick this up, but it's actually, it starts off as a bit yellowish, and then with time it'll start to get a little bit more brighter. But on mine, the reason why I decided to go through all this hassle is because the HIDs are now about 2 years and such. And they're starting to like get dim. I don't know why, but that's your low beam right there, and this is high beam. Okay, low beam, high beam, and this is HID, and this is I don't know if you can actually see that. No, you cannot see that. Alright, well, it's the LED I'm trying to show you right now. Alright, so let's head back. no problems with it, no disconnecting, no issues with the light. Everything seems to be working. So again, I like to say that if you try this, it's at your own risk, but it is a pretty cool concept I came up with. I'm assuming maybe someone else might have done it already, but I haven't seen anything like that yet. It took me a while to figure out how to even come up with this and what switches I needed and all that stuff. But there you have it. It works. Now I can switch between HID and LED whenever I want to. And if you really wanted to, if you don't want to do this route, or you want to just to have both of them, you just want to stick to LED, pretty much what you would just have to do is just plug directly to the original harness, which is in the video when we had the two plugs that was your red cable and black cable, positive, negative. Luckily for us, we got it easy to just pretty much plug into that, and that's your power source. And as long as the bulb matches the wattage the vehicle is looking for, you shouldn't have any problems at all. I will try to show you right now that there's no codes or nothing, no errors. So there you go. So no codes whatsoever. Alright. So there it is. Alright, well that's it for me. Other than that, any questions, suggestions, let me know. If you do electrical work on vehicles, let me know if what I did is okay. Should I worry? If everything is good, let me know. I would like to actually get in contact with some people to make possibly the actual plug and play switch for this. That'd be pretty cool to have. But if anyone's interested, let me know and I can help you out with that. Okay? Thank you. Do, 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 do.